So we need to understand numbers. Numbers ain't my thing, but one thing about it, I don't play about my money, and I'm gonna understand them numbers to make sure I understand my money, right? Hey y'all, hey, it's Troyia Monay, back to y'all with another video. In today's video, we are talking all things recession. So I'm gonna be sharing with you guys 5+ things that I am gonna be doing to essentially make my business recession-proof as we enter this new economic downpour, unfortunately, right? And it makes me so upset as a business coach that we even have to have these conversations, but it's imperative for me to go through and teach you guys the things, the methods, and the strategies that I am doing essentially on the back end and front end of my business to make it just run a lot easier and smoother as we go through this transition in the economy. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and hop right on into it. I really want to make sure that we start with the basics here. I know a lot of you guys are younger entrepreneurs, and perhaps you don't really necessarily even understand what recessions are, or maybe you are an entrepreneur and you're really trying to get some advice and some insight on how to prepare your business and essentially make it recession-proof during this season. So I want to make sure we start with the basics. Let's go all the way back. So what is a recession? All right, let's break it down. So a recession is a decline in economic activity. So recessions are usually caused by several different things, and they are a result of several different things, and they are affected by many different things, right? So when you are thinking about the word recession, just think about less economic activity. There's less different things that are going on right now in the world, right? So basically, I want you to think about it like this. The economy is a lot less active. So if the economy is a lot less active, there's so many different things that are affected, right? So production is usually one that's affected. Income is definitely affected. Wholesale, retail, anything that is usually necessary for the world to run is usually affected by a recession. And the best way for me to break down recessions is usually for me to break it down this way, right? So if I know that an example of an economic activity is production. So if production is affected by the recession, usually that means the prices of things to be produced are impacted, which means we've already seen it, right? Inflation, price goes up. So if prices are going up on things, that means that people are not purchasing as much as they have in the past. So if people aren't purchasing as much as they have in the past, guess what? Companies are losing money. And if companies lose money, guess what? They can't pay their employees. And if people aren't getting paid, guess what they're not doing? They're not purchasing goods and services, right? So it's really like this slippery slope of so many different effects and so many different changes that really have everything to do with the decline in economic activity that really causes all of these things to happen. So when a lot of these things do happen, people get laid off, people have pay cuts. It's really like a slippery slope, if you will, of so many different unfortunate events. So one thing I definitely want to talk about right now, while it's still really early in recession, isn't necessarily like the sexy topic, is making sure that you are creating a recession-proof business. I feel like right now, me listening to a lot of other business coaches, me listening to a lot of podcasts, and just reading a lot of news articles, we are literally in the calm before the storm. Like, we are in the calm. It's not really heavily talked about. You're not seeing a lot of news articles about it. It's not in an uproar like it was, I believe, in 2008. Like, things are real calm for right now. But one thing I really want to make sure I mention here, and I seen it on Coach Stormy's, like, I think she did like a live or a master class or something like that. And I love me some Coach Stormy, y'all. That's my girl. That's my girl. One thing that she really said was, while we see that there is a decline in economic activity, us as business owners, we need to take advantage of that and increase our economic activity. So while the world's economic activity is declining, we need to be increasing our economic activity. So what are a couple of different things that you can do on the back end of your business to increase your economic activity? So when it comes to economic activity, it has a lot to do with the production of goods. It has a lot to do with how goods and services are made. So think about it that way, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out here and purchase so many different products. If I am trying to increase my economic activity, I'm trying to produce more, there's so many other things in my business that I can produce besides getting inventory. I can make sure that my marketing strategies are a lot more effective and a lot more pronounced than they maybe were. I can make sure I'm creating a lot more content. I can make sure I'm sending out more email blasts. so I can produce more inside of my business and not necessarily purchase more inventory. You guys get what I'm saying there? So I think that it's essential for us to understand that while the world's economic activity is declining, us as business owners, we need to take advantage of that and increase our economic activity, right? So let's hop into 5 ways or 5 methods or strategies that I am using today to make sure that I am creating a recession-proof business. Let's get into it. All right, you guys, first things first. To be honest, money rules the world, unfortunately, but it just does. And it's extremely important for you as a business owner to really understand your business's cash flow. Where is the money coming in and where is the money going when it's leaving out? How are we getting and how are we receiving, basically, right? So it is essential for us to know how we are getting our money as business owners and where that money is going when it leaves. That cash flow system. We need to make sure we understand our cash flow projections. So recessions, after I've done some research, I think recessions usually last anywhere between 4 to 6 months or 6 months to a year and a half. It really just depends, right? So I need to make sure that I understand my business's cash flow projections for the next 4 to year and a half, 4 months to a year and a half. I need to make sure I understand how much money I am projected to make versus the amount of money that I am losing. How much are my expenses going to be, basically, right? So we need to understand numbers. Numbers ain't my thing, but one thing about it, I don't play about my money, and I'm going to understand them numbers to make sure I understand my money, right? So we want to make sure we understand our business's numbers. What are our conversion rates looking like? How much traffic are we generating? When you are thinking about your conversions, that is your traffic to sales ratio. How many people are visiting my websites minus the amount of people who are actually checking out, right? I need to make sure I understand my business's conversion rates. If I'm getting low traffic, if I'm getting high traffic and no sales, that means I probably need to go back to the drawing board and recreate a new customer attraction strategy, a new strategy in order for me to convert my customers into buying customers, right? So we want to make sure we get really, really clear on our business's data and analytics. I did an entire video featuring Be Profit. That's who I use personally for my dashboard for data analytics. I'm going to go ahead and link that video up here. Be sure to check it out, especially in this day and age. So that's number 1. Get real clear on your business's numbers. Get real clear on your data. Get really clear on your analytics, because your analytics is literally the GPS to your business, and it'll tell you exactly how to move, exactly where to go. So number 2. Get rid of as much inventory as you can. Like I stated earlier in the video, a recession is a decline in economic activity, but us as business owners, we need to be increasing our economic activity through production, right? Through creating more within our businesses. So even though we might be sitting on a ton of inventory, we need to figure out how we can get rid of it, essentially, right? So you want to maybe put together a couple strategies. Look at the background of your data and analytics and figure out what you can do to get rid of a lot of inventory. So a lot of you guys know that I recently decided to take a small break from my boutique. So much going on with my coaching company, so much going on here on YouTube. I honestly just did not have the capacity to run both businesses. But me taking that break, I'm going to actually do an entire video on it, was literally the best thing that I could have ever done. The best thing that I could have ever done. I realized so much when I take breaks. Breaks are essential. Don't let nobody, this is off topic, but don't let nobody tell you to not take no break. Breaks are essential. Every single time I take a break, I come back and I make more money. So I'm super excited for my comeback campaign, essentially, right? So I was actually sitting down and I'm like brainstorming what my comeback campaign is going to be about. I mean, I've been gone for 2 months. How am I actually going to reposition my brand in front of my target audience? And I was doing so much research. I'm on Fashion Go, I'm choosing inventory, I'm building out my collection, building out my campaign. And then I go look at my inventory room and I have some inventory that I've been sitting on. I've been closed for 2 months. My sales have been still very consistent, but not as consistent as it was when I was open, right? So I'm like, Trey, you got inventory in here that you need to get rid of before you bring new inventory in. So one thing that I'm going to be doing is repositioning my campaigns in a way, remarketing and repurposing my current products to make it sense in the season that I'm in right now. So I think that's essential. When you are trying to figure out how to get rid of your inventory, have you done all you can do? Have you done all of your due diligence to remarket, reposition the inventory that you currently have to reach your target audience in a better, more defined way? All right, you guys, number 3, cut them expenses. Cut those expenses. If you are anything like me, you are paying for apps and subscription services that you don't need. I am a app hoarder. I am the app girl. I love subscriptions. That's why subscriptions are like one of the #1 e-commerce business models because of me. I love subscriptions. I love apps. I love trying new things, essentially, right? So I think it's really important for us to cut as much of those unused apps that we don't use. If we don't use it and it's not effective, just take it out. You don't need it. You got 3, 5, 6 forms of Netflix, Hulu, all of the different things. Get rid of some of those things, right? Try to figure out where you can cut costs. If you have been booking photographers every single time it's time for you to do a photo shoot, try to create your own content. If you have been going through and getting graphic designers and web creators, try to see if you can create your own content, right? See if you can go through and cut some costs. Cutting costs is essential. One thing that I've done is I look back at my bank statement and I highlighted every single thing that I don't need. I went through and I subtracted all of those things that I don't need, and I was saving $900 a month in subscriptions and apps and platforms of things that I do not need to run my businesses. Go back, take those things away. To be honest, you don't need them. There's always things that you can use in place of it until you get the finances to be able to get those things again. So cut them expenses, sis. Cut them. You don't need it. All right, you guys, so up next is marketing. You have to make sure that you are increasing your business's marketing efforts. I was looking at some data and I was just doing a little bit of research, and I seen that back in 2008, I believe, was it 2008, I believe, when the last recession happened, a lot of businesses cut their marketing costs, and that was the #1 thing that they regretted, was cutting their marketing cost. Why would you cut your marketing cost if you're not getting any sales? Like, that should be one of the last departments that you should cut costs from, right? So we have to make sure that we are increasing our business's marketing efforts. One thing that I really want you guys to pay close attention to is to increase your organic marketing efforts. If you have been out here running ads, if you have been out here doing influencer marketing, different things along those lines, see if maybe you can make a couple tweaks to those things. Influencer marketing is just never gonna die. But if you notice that you spend a lot of money on ads and a lot of money on other paid marketing services, try to cut those things out, right? You want to increase your organic marketing approach because those things are usually very, very low cost or essentially free sometimes. So definitely increase your marketing approach. Maybe I'll do another video on marketing strategies and skill sets that you can use during a recession, but definitely increase your marketing. So whether that be email marketing, SMS, whether that be content creation, whatever you are doing when it comes to marketing, make sure you are doing those things. Psychological marketing, try to go through and increase those things too. All right, you guys, #5 is to study your audience like no other. This is a time for you to get really, really, really clear on who it is that you plan to target. Who is this business essentially for? And what is their cause and effect right now when it comes to the recession? How is their behavior changing? How is their shopping behavior? How is their behavior as a consumer affected by the recession? You have so many different types of people in this world, and we're all affected by the recession differently. Are you targeting moms, single moms, and she is low income? She's probably not doing a ton of shopping right now. That doesn't mean that you stop marketing towards her. That means you change the way that you market towards her. I might be reaching out to someone who's an impulse shopper and she's steady out here buying stuff. The recession is not affecting her at all. The way that I'm gonna market towards her now may be a lot differently than I'm gonna market towards her on a non-recession type of, period in time, right? Get really clear on your target audience and their purchasing behavior as it relates to the recession. Are they buying right now? Are they not buying right now? Why are they buying right now? Why are they not buying right now, right? We want to get really, really clear on those things and how it's affecting our consumers. All right, you guys, and as a bonus, #6, y'all know I always got to just treat y'all to something a little bit additional. #6 is to make smart business choices and investments. During this time, this does not mean to cut expenses and not add any expenses or investments on. This is actually the perfect time for you to make very smart business decisions and add on investments that really will make sense after the recession has ended. So if you've been thinking about doing real estate, perfect timing. If you've been thinking about getting a storefront, perfect timing. Imagine the rate you'll get. If you've been thinking about doing NFTs and stocks, these are the perfect times for you to make those business investments or personal investments, because things might be a lot lower in cost. One other thing that I think is extremely important is to invest in business coaching right now. One thing that I realized is, as a business coach, is a lot of people are thinking, okay, I can't afford business coaching right now because I'm trying to open my business. This is the most crucial point in your business where you need a business coach. The reason why is because a business coach is going to lead you on how to run your business during the recession. How are you going to learn about all the different processes and procedures and strategies that it takes to run your business if you are not doing it during one of the most crucial points in history, right? One of the most crucial time periods in the world when it comes to how we're affected by the economy, right? So really invest into coaching right now. Invest into things that, you know, are really, really high in cost, that you're going to be able to see a really, really good ROI in. So that is it, y'all. That is 6 things that I am doing right now to make my businesses recession proof, essentially. I hope that this was helpful. If it was, give this video a big thumbs up. If you guys have any video requests, feel free to leave them down below. I am excited to be back here on YouTube, giving you guys some more gems. I love it here. I love me some YouTube. So make sure you guys go through and like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Peace.